What's up? I'm Amanda. If you've never been here before, don't forget to subscribe. If you're like me and you once had a lot of plants, like over 100, and you're starting to feel overwhelmed or you don't want to spend as much time on plant care because you like doing other things as most people do, and now you're kind of looking to get rid of some plants, well, I have a few that I suggest you don't get rid of. If your goal here is to cut back on your plant care time and your plants in general, like the space they take up in your homes, then definitely consider keeping the ones that I'm about to suggest, if you have them in your collection, of course. All right, so I have 6 plant categories, if you want to call them that I suggest you keep, that I kept in my collection, and are all low maintenance and easy for the most part. Okay, so number 1, anything pothos related, and I don't want to get into the whole what's a true pothos and what's not, so for the sake of this video, we're just gonna call it's a pothos. There are some yellow leaves on there because I did neglect my plants a little bit when I had too many. But I shouldn't have to worry about that anymore since I downsize a lot. So yes, anything pothos related, I have a few different varieties in my collection, are pretty easy to take care of. They're kind of known for being easy to take care of, and they're really great beginner plants as well because of that reason. They propagate really easily, which is a plus if you like taking cuttings, and they're kind of versatile in the look you want. You can have them vining, you can stake them up, have them climb, whatever you want, but they are super low maintenance. It's really easy with these plants to tell when they need water, and they bounce back relatively quickly if you over or underwater. And there are so many varieties that you could still feel like you have a large collection if that's what you like, by just collecting different varieties of pothos, and they'll still all have the same care and they won't be super finicky, so you don't have to worry about that if you own multiple different types. So yeah, definitely a variety that I highly suggest keeping. So number 2 is another vining type. It is anything Scindapsus. Now this is just a little Scindapsus that I have here in this pot. I own a few in my collection and I don't plan to ever get rid of them, again because the care is so easy. They're pretty similar to the pothos. A lot of people mix them up for that reason because they kind of look the same, the care is the same, both very low maintenance. There are a lot of varieties, which is nice, so you can collect a bunch of them if you'd like, and you won't have to worry about different plant care requirements because they're all relatively the same. Okay, next is number 3, and it's not really a specific genius or anything, it's just mature plants in general. By mature I mean usually larger, well-established plants, more than likely not going to be in an 8-inch pot, probably 12 plus inches. So when I downsized, I definitely downsized a majority of my little plants. Now, of course, if you're downsizing your collection due to lack of like floor space or something, you might not be able to keep your large plants. But if you're downsizing to just kind of get rid of some of your plants and cut back care, then it's definitely worth it to keep the few larger plants versus a lot of small, tiny plants. The smaller plants require watering more often because less soil, less water retention. The other plus to keeping your mature plants over your small plants is the mature plants are less finicky. So just keep that in mind, which just means that your large plants are a little bit more chill when it comes to care and stuff, so you don't really have to worry or stress so much if you are stressing over your plant collection, which kind of defeats the whole purpose of collecting something for fun. So for number 4, we have Hoyas. Certain Hoyas, not just Hoyas across the board, because some Hoyas are known to be really finicky, die all the time, just kind of hard to understand how to care for them. But there are some that are really hardy for one and very easy to care for, which is why I pretty much got rid of all my Hoyas except for like 3, I believe, that I have in my collection now. And all 3 of these are really easy to care for and really hardy. I rarely see leaf loss, even when I can clearly tell that I have skipped watering a few times. Now there is one in my collection, the Hoya linearis, that is kind of controversial. Some people think that plant is really hard to care for. They're always killing it off. I often see it compared to like a string of plant, like string of turtles, string of pearls, whatever. But that is one that I will argue, once you get the care down and once it acclimates to your home, so easy to care for. But that's the only one that's kind of like borderline for some people. And I will argue that a lot of Hoyas kind of just look the same. And I know there's some hardcore like Hoya heads out there that don't like that opinion, and they're extremely expensive for some of them when it looks just like a cheaper version or just like another version. I don't know. For number 5, we have a genius, and that is the philodendron genius. Now, this genius is the largest, I believe, so you definitely have your pick of what you want to collect within it, but for the most part, a lot of philodendrons are super easy to care for. Now, I'm not talking about any of the crazy rare ones out there because I don't even own anything too crazy. But the more basic kind of middle ground philodendrons are pretty easy to care for. You just gotta give them sunlight, water when the leaves kind of start to droop, and they're pretty hardy. I've had pests kind of attack a couple of mine before and they bounce back no problem. I do have one that I'm debating on getting rid of. It is the philodendron Atom, and I'm only considering this because I don't love how small it is. Now for number 6, our last suggestion here is just monsteras. And I know in no way mean a monstera tie or an albo or anything that is variegated, because variegation brings a little bit more troubleshooting with it. I just mean your basic monstera. This plant is so hardy. It can thrive in lower light conditions, although probably not ideal, and it is just so beautiful and rewarding when it produces a new leaf. That's not something that I want to get rid of. I get so excited still when I see a giant leaf uncurling, and they're just cool plants. I feel like they're kind of like the OG of plant collections. So many different people started out with a monstera before collecting, and growing it on a trellis is so rewarding when you see those leaves start to get bigger and the fenestrations start to get larger and deeper. So definitely recommend keeping this plant. All right, that's it. Those are just my opinions on plants that you should never get rid of. So comment, let me know if you're thinking of getting rid of any of these plants or not, or if I change your mind, or if you don't really care because you don't plan to get rid of any of your plants. As always, you can find me on TikTok and Instagram and wherever you live. I hope you have a good one.